Prince Edward has been appointed to the Order of the Thistle by King Charles to mark his 60th birthday. 4 new images released depict Edward in the new role, showcasing his family life and love for dogs. In a rare interview, Edward praises his wife, Princess Sophie, and reflects on his father, Prince Philip. The monarchy's importance in uniting people is emphasized by Edward, who expressed gratitude for the privilege and acknowledged the weight of expectations. The Duke of Edinburgh, undergoing cancer treatment, is granted additional titles as he approaches his milestone birthday. King's Gift Prince Edward appointed to new role by King Charles as 4 new images released to mark his 60th birthday. It comes after Princess Sophie paid tribute to Edward in a tearful speech. Prince Edward has been appointed to a new role by King Charles, as 4 new images are released to mark his 60th birthday. The King appointed Edward to the Order of the Thistle, Scotland's highest honour. Edward is seen wearing a red jumper underneath a dark buttoned waistcoat. Other pictures show him smiling with his 3 dogs, Labrador Teal, Cocker Spaniel Mole and Labrador Puppy Teasel. It comes after Edward revealed his wife Princess Sophie is his rock in a rare interview. Edward told ITV gardening expert Alan Titchmarsh, "I'm incredibly lucky that I found Sophie and that she found me." He and Sophie, 59, have been married since 1999, having met at a promotion shoot for the Prince Edward Summer Challenge 2 years earlier. During the interview, Edward also praised his father Prince Philip, the Duke of Edinburgh, for being brilliant with people even if it sometimes didn't necessarily come across that way. "He was always encouraging everybody," he said. "You sort of needed to get to know him. He was just an extraordinary man. He was the Prince Albert of our age. He had an extraordinary mind. He loved design, he loved innovation." Edward revealed some of his lasting memories of his father, including teaching his daughter Lady Louise to drive a carriage. He said, "It was entirely off her own bat, he took her out with the team. I think it was only the second time he was driving along and he said, 'Do you want to have a go?' She didn't have time to even answer the question, he just handed the reins across. We're very lucky, we've got 2 of what we would think are particularly brilliant children. They are forging such different paths for themselves. I think that's also equally fascinating," he added. Asked about adjusting to his new title, Edward said it had been a huge privilege, but had also bestowed quite a lot of weight of expectation as well. "I mean, there's an awful lot of legacy that came with that title and everything that my father had done," he continued. "Especially when you're not inheriting it, this is a choice that comes with all the expectations that people have. It's just the weirdest and strangest feeling. You walk into a room and, particularly still today, there are name places on a card and I still look around going, yes, but where am I sitting?" In a newspaper interview, Edward said the monarchy is as important as ever in trying to bring people together. He told the Daily Mail, "Our role, being part of the monarchy, in trying to bring people together is as important as ever, if not more so today." The Duke carried out a series of engagements with Princess Sophie earlier this week, ahead of his milestone birthday this weekend. He was presented with a Leeds Rhinos rugby shirt with HRH 60 on the back during a visit to Headingley Stadium on Friday. Edward noticed the detail on the back and said to his wife, "Yours is more subtle than mine." He told the young players, "Thanks a bunch. I really need to be reminded." Sophie then paid a tearful tribute to Edward at the end of the Community Sport and Recreation Awards. She said, "Edward is best of fathers, the most loving of husbands, and he is still my best friend. I am so proud of the man he is." King Charles made Edward the Duke of Edinburgh to mark his 59th birthday. Queen Elizabeth II also granted Edward the additional title of Earl of Forfar to mark his 55th birthday. It comes Charles, 75, is undergoing treatment for cancer and the Princess of Kate is recuperating from abdominal surgery. BBC EastEnders star teases arrival of George Knight's mystery son amid DNA bombshell. EastEnders viewers are yet to meet George Knight's mystery son on the BBC soap, but one star of the show teased they could make an arrival amid one character learning some huge family news. EastEnders viewers may finally get to meet George Knight's secret son at some point on the BBC soap. Last June viewers found out there was another member of the Knight family we had not met, after the arrival of George, his daughters Anna and Gina and his partner Elaine Peacock. It wasn't revealed in spoilers that George also had a son he did not see, and we only found this out in a scene on the show. In a chat with Phil Mitchell, George confirmed he had a son who goes off the rails, adding, "I don't see much of him, his choice, not mine." The conversation ended there before any more details about the son or who he was, or why he and his father are estranged. To this day we have not met this son, and he has not been mentioned by George, the girls or his ex Cindy Beale, while it's thought he is the son of a previous partner of George's. But speaking exclusively to the Mirror recently, Anna actress Molly Rainford teased whether her secret on-screen brother could make an appearance. When asked whether we might see the son appear in Walford amid his identity and backstory not being shared, Molly confessed she'd love to see it happen, amid calls for another of her siblings to return. She said, "Yes, absolutely, I'd love that. I mean, what EastEnders family doesn't have secret siblings? I feel like there's siblings from both sides and people we haven't met yet too, so I'd be really excited if he or any of them came into the show." It comes after fans were recently disappointed as Cindy left Walford to visit her daughter Cindy Jr. to inform her of the fact she was still alive and hadn't died years earlier as the family had been led to believe. But the reunion was not shown and happened off-screen, leaving fans calling for Cindy Jr. to come back to the show. Actress Molly agreed with fans and called for the comeback of the character, believing now was the right time for the siblings to meet. She told us, "Yeah, I'd love for her to return, absolutely. I feel like she must be around Anna and Gina's age too, so that would be good." It follows the DNA bombshell surrounding George's adoption as a child, with the truth only coming to light about what happened to his biological father in recent episodes. George was adopted by Gloria and Eddie Knight as a child, with him recently learning they were paid to take him in by his real father. Gloria alleged the payments stopped coming and his father never returned for him, despite it being a temporary agreement. Just weeks ago George learned the dark truth though, that his father Henry had been brutally murdered by racist Eddie to stop him taking him away from Gloria, who had grown attached to George. EastEnders airs Mondays to Thursdays at 7:30 p.m. on BBC One and BBC iPlayer. EastEnders spoilers: Linda Carter flees in terror as evil Dean Wicks makes horrifying move. Linda Carter agrees to help Jade Massoud in upcoming EastEnders scenes, but is left fleeing in terror as Dean Wicks makes a horrifying move. Jade has been planning a charity auction for a number of weeks with the help of Jean Slater, who is eager to secure the Vic as the venue for the fundraiser. Surprisingly, Linda agrees to the arrangement, but makes it clear that Dean isn't allowed to attend. Back at Dean's flat, Jean is left horrified when Jade has a bad coughing fit and she rushes to call the doctor. Much to Dean's horror, viewers will know that Dean has been tampering with Jade's antibiotics in order to ensure that she isn't well enough to travel to Pakistan to live with her mum. Things only get worse for Dean when Jade looks at his phone, and he is forced to explain why he has been dodging Shabnam's calls and texts. He manages to persuade them that he's been putting his head in the sand and avoiding Shabnam, though Jade can't understand why, as she already knows that Jade is too sick to travel. Later, Jade asks Dean if she can go to the fundraiser in the Vic, and Dean agrees as long as she is well enough, though he continues to mess with her antibiotics. When Johnny Carter taunts Dean about not being allowed to attend the fundraiser, it only makes him more determined to find a way in. He soon manages to manipulate Jean and Harvey Monroe into letting him in, and Jade begs Elaine Peacock to at least let him stay for her speech. Just before her big moment, Dean begs Jade to stay in London with him instead of moving to Pakistan. Linda is horrified to see Dean in the pub, despite her specific instructions, and rushes upstairs, closely flanked by Jean. The landlady is emotional as she makes Jean see that she has been played, and soon Jean returns downstairs to demand Dean to leave, but will he listen? Please subscribe our channel.